Hey folks, this is Rhykker with your ultimate guide to Diablo 4 Season 10. If you have any questions about Season 10, what's the fastest way to level, what's the season theme, how do you farm up the season theme, this video should answer all your questions. Now I normally have my ultimate season guides out much sooner, sorry about that. I was taken out of commission by a sudden illness. I basically collapsed right after my season start stream. But in my first play session this season, I reached Torment 4. This is a huge power creep season. You're going to be stronger and level faster than ever. And I want to help you folks get the most of it. Season 10 is the season of Infernal Chaos. It introduces Chaos Armor and Chaos Perks. Both of those are going to be a big boost to your power, and we'll explain both in a bit here. But your first question is likely, what class should I play this season? Well, we got a whole video talking about that over here. And if you want to know what build to play, well, we'll have a top 10 builds video as well coming out soon. And you can find all of my video guides on my website, Rhykker.com, which brings us to a word from this video's sponsor. I built my website using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field, all thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Squarespace offers a ton of pre-made, professionally designed website templates for any kind of website, and also offers Blueprint AI, which is an AI-enhanced website builder to help you fully customize a beautiful-looking, personalized website made exactly for your needs and your unique identity. Squarespace even has optimized SEO tools so that you can launch your website and start getting views as quickly as possible through search engine traffic, plus analytics to then review where your traffic is coming from. You can also sell products or services, with Squarespace providing everything you need to engage customers, from easy online payment methods to built-in tools for inventory, shipping, and fulfillment. And this includes custom merch. You just send in the designs and Squarespace handles everything else. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. So head to squarespace.com/Rhykker or click the link in the description to start your free trial and use code Rhykker to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain when you're ready to launch. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Rhykker. Now I see this question asked a lot, do you need to own Vessel of Hatred to play the new season or enjoy the new season? And the answer is no. And then the next question we'll answer is, what is the fastest way to level? The short answer is you're going to do Hell Tides, and then starting at level 50, you're going to do Strongholds. But let's get into more detail. First off, you play on normal difficulty. The reason for this is you're going to be going after Chaos Rifts. This is the new season mechanic, and those things will kick your butt on hard difficulty. Maybe around level 15 to 25, once you get a good power spike going in your build, then you'll feel confident handling things on hard. You're going to be in Helltide, there's going to be challenging content, and you do not want to die and lose your ether. Your ether, your cinders. This game's got too many things. Your Helltide points. What about campaign leveling, you ask? Sure. Probably the absolute fastest way to level is with doing the campaign on normal, because quest turning XP is so big, but you're really going to be hamstringing yourself because you want to be engaging with the seasonal quest line and the seasonal powers to get a leg up. And leveling time right now, it's just so much faster anyway that doing the campaign doesn't save you all that much time in the long run. If you enjoy doing the campaign, do the campaign, but overall I recommend skipping the campaign. So you've selected normal difficulty, you're in game, right away equip your pet. Pet goes and picks up stuff for you, including cinders and Helltide. Then, if you have Vessel of Hatred, go unlock your mercenary or mercenaries. Then your first quest, you're going to do Raising Spirits in Kiovashad. It's a simple little quest. You just travel to this guy over here. You're going to go cheer these soldiers over here. You're going to return, and with that, you're going to get some elixir components as a reward. And that's because throughout your leveling journey, and pretty much just all the time in this game until you're max Paragon, you want to have some kind of elixir running to get an XP buff. The lowest level elixirs give 5% bonus XP, and then a little bit higher level, you unlock the 8% bonus XP elixirs. You want to swap to those, of course, when you can. At higher level, much higher level, you can additionally run incense, and you can stack 3 different types of incense from the 3 different categories of incense that you can craft. Each will give a cumulative 5% XP buff, but at low level, you don't want to worry about those. And when you first unlock them as well, you won't be able to afford to have them running all the time. But ultimately in the end game, the idea is, especially when you're doing high XP activities like pit farming, that you want to have one of each running. And then start doing the seasonal quest line. The seasonal quest line is how you're going to unlock your seasonal perks. These are very transformative powers that increase your power level by so much. You need and want to have these. Now, at some point in your seasonal quest line, you're going to have to go farm Helltide to increase your reputation. Because they want to confuse us, they call it Vijaktar Veneration this time. Little lore tidbit, the Vijaktar, those are the assassins, as in the assassin from Diablo 2. I got a whole lore series if you don't know. But new to Helltide this season, there's going to be Chaos Rifts spawning within them. These Chaos Rifts, they're going to be tough. They're going to be a spike in difficulty, but they're very rewarding. Out of these rifts spawn monsters, and by killing the monsters and destroying these rifts, you're going to get your seasonal reputation. You also get reputation from, I think, just killing elites and bosses in general, but most of it is going to come from dealing with chaos rifts and the monsters that spew out of them. These chaos rifts can come in other places as well, but to start with, you're going to be farming them in Helltides. So once you get to the point of farming in Helltide, your general gameplay flow is going to be, once you are in Helltide, you're going to stay in Helltide until it's done, and then during the downtime between the next Helltide, you're going to go do whatever next step in the seasonal quests until you're blocked again and needing to farm more reputation, and then back to Helltide. In the Helltide, you're going to want to do whatever whispers are available in the Helltide, and outside of that, you're going to want to open all the chests that you can, and outside of that, then you're just running around trying to farm the Chaos Rifts. Do not endlessly farm Blood Maiden. She could be a trap here. She is not a priority. You're going to often have a whisper to do her. Do the whisper, but don't get caught in a loop of just chain farming her over and over. That is distracting you from doing the Chaos Rifts. Now, sometimes you're going to get something to drop called a Fleeting Horde's Compass. This is an Infernal Horde's Compass that can only be used pre-Torment. When you get those, you want to run those. This will be another great source of XP, and at endgame, you won't be able to use them anyway. These fleeting compasses will be a great source of not just XP, but also your seasonal reputation. Now, your season journey, as you're completing your season journey, you are going to get your smoldering ashes. How to spend your smoldering ashes? Put them all into the Urn of Reputation. This is going to boost the amount of Vijaktar Veneration that you're going to get from all sources. Once that is capped at the full 4 points in it for 20%, then you kind of do what you want. You might want to swap them around depending on what activity you are doing. For instance, if you're doing Infernal Hordes, you can respec into Urn of Chaos Armor. If you're doing Helltide, you can do Urn of Chaos Nightmares. And then otherwise, as you're leveling, in order to minimize your downtime, the most important thing you want to focus on is ensuring your weapon is always the highest DPS weapon that you can be wielding. Because of that, if you have any kind of aspects that are important to your build, you want to make sure they're not on your weapon. An amulet is a very safe place to put it, and it's because you can't afford to be constantly re-imprinting your aspects. It's also a waste of time, and you want to be held back from swapping to a more powerful weapon because you need that aspect. So again, once you're about level 50, then you swap to doing the strongholds. You do those on normal difficulty because the XP comes from the quest completion, which does not scale with difficulty. That should get you the rest of the way from about 50 to 60, and also you're going to be unlocking certain waypoints. You kind of need to do a lot of the strongholds just in general in order to unlock not just waypoints, but even some nightmare dungeons are locked behind doing strongholds. Now let's talk a bit more about these Chaos Rifts. Again, you find them in Infernal Hordes, but that's not the only place you're going to find them. Now these Chaos Rifts, they actually come in different rarities. You have your magic ones, you have your rare ones, and there are also, starting in Torment 1 and higher, mythic ones. Now, every Chaos Rift also has a modifier under it that determines the kind of reward it's going to give. And there's all kinds of different rewards. I mean, you'll probably want to do every Chaos Rift you run into, but at least you can see what reward you're going to get from it. And again, those mythic Chaos Rifts that start appearing once you're in Torment 1, those will give you a guaranteed mythic item. Now, because of that, any nightmare dungeon you get to drop that has the Chaos Rift affix on it, I'd recommend saving for Torment 1 and above. And once you've reached Torment 1 and above, not only can you just use any Chaos Rift nightmare dungeon sigils that you have found, you can actually go out of your way to try to craft them. At the Occultist, go and craft Nightmare Dungeon sigils until you get ones with Chaos Rifts and run those. Now, these Chaos Rifts, not only are they a great source of reputation, they are also a great source of loot, and they're also going to be your best way to get Infernal Warp, which is the resource you use to level up your Chaos perks. So let's talk about the Chaos perks now. So Chaos perks are the seasonal powers. They didn't want to call them powers this time because they really are much more transformative, much more impactful to your power level, and they're a big contributor to why this is a huge power creep season. You can have a total of 4 Chaos perks equipped. 3 regular ones of any rarity, and then 1 unique one. So you have 4 unique ones to pick from, and then you have 4 blue, 4 yellow, and 4 legendary. And again, your 3 diamond shape ones, you can have 3 blues, you can have 3 yellows. The permutation doesn't matter. The only rule is you can only have 1 unique equipped. Now, all the non-unique perks you will unlock simply by progressing your reputation track. That's part of the reason why it's so important to proceed along your reputation track. Now, there's a suite of generic chaos perks, but then every class has 4 class-specific chaos perks, 1 of each rarity. The unique chaos perks, those will be unlocked by defeating Bartuk in Torment 1 or higher. Bartuk is a new boss, and this is a permanent addition to Infernal Hordes. At the end of Infernal Hordes, if you have at least 666 ether, then you can spend that ether to fight Bartuk instead of the regular council. And every time you defeat Bartuk, you will get 1 chaos perk until you have all 4 unlocked. Now, while you're still leveling 1 to 60, while you're low level, some of these perks are going to be really powerful, and what you want to look for especially are ones that deal flat damage. Flat damage perks, even at level 1, even at rank 1, tend to be really powerful when your character is only dealing a small amount of damage. So Accelerating Chaos here, for instance, lucky hit, you're dealing 1,400 damage. Invigorating Attacks is actually another powerful one, in particular if your build is resource thirsty. Every 5 seconds, your next basic skill generates an additional 50% of your max primary resource when cast. So that is 1 basic attack is giving you back at least 50% of your resource. Your basic skills deal reduced damage, but that's generally not a problem because your damage isn't really coming from basic attacks. Erupting Chaos is another really powerful one at low level. Chaotic Burst just randomly exploding for 1,400 damage. And to level up these perks, you need Infernal Warp. Now, through 1 to 60, you're not going to get much of this, so I would really just hold off on leveling up your perks and only level up the ones that you really think you're going to use in the end game. Again, Chaos Rift seems to be your best source of Infernal Warp, and the amount that you get scales up with higher difficulty. Eventually, once you no longer need Infernal Warp because you've either maxed out all your Chaos perks or at least maxed out the ones you care about, you can spend Infernal Warp instead at this vendor here, Xian, right next to the reputation board, to buy Warp Scrolls to basically purchase reputation. And presumably, even once you have filled out your reputation board, you'll be able to, after the last step, just keep maxing it out to get the loot bag. Now, once you complete the seasonal quest line, you'll be rewarded with your first piece of Chaos Armor. It's going to be a helm. It's going to be Mother's Embrace. Mother's Embrace is typically a ring. And that's your introduction to what Chaos Armor is. So, Chaos Armor. It can either be a helm, chest, gloves, boots, or pants. Those are the 5 slots that Chaos Armor comes in. And what it is a unique item that is typically from a different slot rolling into one of those 5 slots. So it could be a unique ring that'll roll as, again, either helm, chest, gloves, pants, or boots. It could also be, Fists of Fate gloves that roll as pants, for instance. So this way you're able to mix and match different unique items that you were not able to previously mix and match. This effectively allows you to wear 2 unique amulets or 2 unique boots. It's similar a little bit to Diablo 3's Kanai's Cube. But then on top of that, Chaos Armor also ensures that the unique power is rolled at its max roll, and it is also juiced on top of that, rolling, I think, 20% higher. Chaos Armor also always has at least 1 greater affix on it. Now, not every unique item is available as a Chaos Armor. There's a wide selection, but it's not everything. Also, if the item is already on an armor slot, you cannot get a Chaos Armor version in that same slot. So Fists of Fate gloves, you can get them as boots. Helm, pants, you cannot get them as gloves again. And no, you can't double dip, so you can't equip regular Fists of Fate and then Chaos Armor Fists of Fate. The game literally won't let you. Now, the best source of getting Chaos Armor drops is Bartuk, the new Bartuk fight at the end of Infernal Hordes. That's your most deterministic way of farming Chaos Armor, but you can do other things to improve your odds, because you can get Chaos Armor to drop anywhere in the game. So, Obol gambling. I'd encourage you to save all your Obels until you're level 60. And not just level 60, but also once you've unlocked Torment 1. Because yes, you can gamble with Obel's Chaos Armor. So if you save all your Obels for those 5 armor slots, and you don't spend your Obels on anything else, you're going to increase your odds of getting Chaos Armor. Now, Infernal Hordes. You cannot deterministically craft yourself compasses, but it seems the best source of compasses is doing Helltide, opening Helltide chests, as well as opening the Whisper caches. And speaking of Whisper caches, that's another great way to get yourself Chaos Armor by selecting the Whisper caches that are one of those 5 armor slots. Now, if you're wondering what difficulty to farm Infernal Hordes on, it's going to come down to how much ether you can collect at the end. If you cannot get at least 666 ether, then you cannot unlock the Bartuk fight, and you really want to be fighting Bartuk. So let's say you've pushed into T2, and now you find yourself getting only like 500 ether, but on T1 you can get 700 ether. Because you're struggling on T2, then you're better off farming on T1. Now, in Infernal Hordes, you want to watch out for the Chaos Waves. Sometimes you're going to get, in addition to your 3 choices, a 4th choice off to the side. Don't miss it. A Chaos Wave is something you almost always want to take. The only circumstance in which you would not want to is if you have some, we're going to call it a build, right? The choices that you make in Infernal Hordes, you're creating a build for that run, a build for your rewards, right? If one of those choices is like super good for your build, in particular if it has some kind of multiplier on it, like something giving 3 times more ether rewards, then maybe you would pick that over a Chaos Wave, but in almost all of the circumstances, you're picking the Chaos Wave. Infernal Hordes got a big overhaul with this season. A lot of different things have been juiced. You know, the old advice of always run with Hellborn, maybe not the best choice anymore. We're still working out which is the best. Could be that Etheric Masses seem pretty solid right now. Soul Spires, they made a change to Soul Spires. They might, well, hopefully with feedback, they're going to revert this change. They juiced Soul Spires, but they also changed it now that only monster kills within the Soul Spire's radius count. So if you're wondering why your Soul Spire is not progressing, it's because the monsters must be inside. So there's one boon that you can pick. It's called the Hungry Spires. That one will suck monsters into the Soul Spires. That helps with the grouping. Because otherwise, let's say you're in a group of 4, right? So many monsters die before they ever even make it into the Soul Spire radius. Now, in the Bartuk fight, as well as in some Chaos Waves, you're going to notice purple portals on the ground. And these portals have like a line sticking out of them. What that line means is the direction that you're going to get teleported once you walk into that portal. And you'll want to use these portals depending on what kind of ground effects are happening. There might be some kind of like lightning line to dodge or evade to get out of the way. Different screen clearing abilities, and so you'll want to go and use those portals, assuming you can't just DPS down Bartuk or whatever happens to be happening on screen. It's pretty straightforward. Now, because we're going to be using Infernal Hordes to farm up Bartuk, that means we're actually not going to be getting as much Obdacite from Infernal Hordes as we used to, and most of our Obdacite will now be coming from Nightmare Dungeons, which is totally fine because we want to be running Nightmare Dungeons anyway for those Chaos Rifts. There's actually 2 affixes on Nightmare Dungeons that you want to get. One is the Chaos Rifts, and one is Infernal Warp Reserve. Infernal Warp Reserve, as you can guess, gives you Infernal Warp to level up your Chaos perks, or otherwise just buy more reputation. The only thing to be aware of with the Infernal Warp Reserve, it is placed in hard-to-see chests throughout the Nightmare Dungeon. So if you just run through killing monsters, not opening anything, you'll miss it. So just pay attention and do open those chests or coffers, whatever, when they pop up. Now, that's going to wrap up this video, folks. If you have a question that this video did not answer, please post it in the comments below, or otherwise leave your tips for Season 10. And stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Diablo content.